Welcome back to the auditorium. My name again is William Hubbard. I chair the board of the World Justice Project. This afternoon I'm pleased to move to a very important item of the World Justice Forum agenda, the World Justice Project's 2017 Rule of Law Award. At the World Justice Project, we believe that effective rule of law reduces corruption, combats poverty and disease, and protects people from injustices, small and large. It is the foundation for communities of equity, peace, and opportunity, underpinning development, accountable government, and respect for fundamental rights. However, the rule of law cannot thrive without the tireless, pioneering efforts of global citizens engaged in bringing about change and reform worldwide. We are proud to have a tradition of recognizing and applauding such efforts through the World Justice Project Rule of Law Award, which acknowledges distinguished achievements and contributions in advancing the rule of law throughout the world. I'm delighted to announce that the winner of the World Justice Project 2017 Rule of Law Award is President Jimmy Carter. The WJP is proud to present this award to President Carter in recognition of his lifetime of distinguished service and achievements in promoting peace, human rights, and the rule of law worldwide. Congratulations, President Carter. A Nobel Peace Prize winner and the 39th President of the United States, President Carter has worked tirelessly to promote peace, rule of law, and human rights both during his term as U.S. President and afterward, through the work of the Carter Center, which he founded in 1982 together with his wife, Rosalind. As President of the United States, his work to produce the Camp David Accords of 1978, his success in obtaining ratification of the Panama Canal Treaties, the establishment of full diplomatic relations with the People's Republic of China, and the completion of negotiations of the SALT II nuclear limitation treaty with the Soviet Union, all contributed to a more peaceful world. For over 3 decades, the Carter Center has helped improve the lives of people in more than 80 countries by resolving conflicts, advancing democracy, human rights, and economic opportunity, and preventing diseases. The reduction of the guinea worm disease incidence from 3.5 million cases in 1986 to 25 today. The observation of 103 elections in 39 countries. Furthering avenues to peace in numerous conflict zones worldwide, and strengthening international human rights standards. These are only a few examples of such work. The work of President Carter has been recognized domestically and internationally. In 1998, he was one of 5 leaders from around the world to receive the United Nations Human Rights Prize. In 1999, President and Rosalind Carter received the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian honor bestowed by the United States government. And in 2002, President Carter received the Nobel Peace Prize for his decades of untiring efforts to find peaceful solutions to international conflicts, to advance democracy and human rights, and to promote economic and social development. Unfortunately, President Carter, who we are proud to say has been an honorary chair of the World Justice Project since our founding, could not be here today, but he sent the following letter in acceptance of this Rule of Law Award, and I quote, "To William Newcomb and you, the participants of the World Justice Forum 5, I am honored to receive the World Justice Project's 2017 Rule of Law Award. While I regret that I cannot be with you today at The Hague, please know how much it means to me. The gathering of such gifted leaders from so many arenas is exciting, and I commend you for the important discussions that will transpire over the next few days. All of us at the Carter Center applaud the fine work that you and your colleagues are doing and look forward to the results from this worthwhile dialogue. Thank you again, And Rosalind joins me in sending you all our warm best wishes. Sincerely, Jimmy Carter. Please join me momentarily in a round of applause as we congratulate President Jimmy Carter for this award and thank him for his incredible work in promoting peace, human rights, and the rule of law worldwide. Now, Juan Botero, the Executive Director of the World Justice Project, will present the 2017 Anthony Lewis Prize for Exceptional Rule of Law Journalism.
The WJP Anthony Lewis Prize for Exceptional Rule of Law Journalism was created to acknowledge journalism from around the world who have contributed to increase awareness and understanding of the foundational importance of the rule of law. This is our second awarding of this prize. The award was named in honor of Anthony Lewis, a friend and inspiration to the World Justice Project, who was a Pulitzer Prize-winning author and journalist. Tony, as he was called to his friends, is credited with transforming legal journalism in the United States. His reporting on the establishment of the Constitutional Court in post-apartheid South Africa helped inspire the creation of the World Justice Project. He was also an active participant at WJP's first regional meeting in 2007. First, allow me to thank this year's judges who invested their time, effort, and wisdom into helping the World Justice Project find an outstanding winner of this year's prize. They are Larry Kramer, President of the Hewlett Foundation, Martha Mendoza, reporter of the Associated Press. Martha's AP team won the Lewis Prize last year for their reporting on human rights abuses, including slavery in the Thai fishing industry. John Nery, Editor-in-Chief of The Enquirer. Roberto Hernandez, Senior Researcher at the World Justice Project and Director of the movie Presunto Culpable that you saw yesterday. Ethan Brommer, Senior Editor of Bloomberg News. There were many excellent nominations this year, and choosing a winner was no easy task. As Judge Martha Mendoza wrote, "I'm stunned by the courage and profound commitment of these reporters. Their stories, often told in obscurity, are shining lights of justice and transparency in incredibly obscure and dangerous places." In addition to the prize winners, 5 journalists were awarded honorable mentions in recognition of their extraordinary reporting on rule of law issues. Those are Diego Enrique Osorno of Mexico, Daniel Balint Curti and Leigh Baldwin of the United Kingdom, Caroline Raffaelli of South Africa, and Anuj Chopra of Afghanistan. I would like to offer an applause to those 5. Now, I am pleased to announce this year's winner of the WJP Anthony Lewis Prize for Exceptional Rule of Law Journalism. This is the Center for Investigative Journalism of Serbia, CINS. The CINS team is being recognized for their series of articles on systemic crime and corruption in Serbian society, with a focus on documenting how that corruption too often goes unpunished by courts and regulators. To support the reporting, the CINS team submitted more than 500 Freedom of Information Act requests, creating databases based on thousands of pages of documents, often in difficult circumstances requiring repeated petitions. The reporting has stirred debate and calls for reform, and also pressure, intimidation, and closed doors. As they wrote in their submission to the Anthony Lewis Prize, all this means that we have to fight every day, not just to do good journalism, but to explain what we do and why it is important for our society. Their determined efforts remind us of the vital role independent journalism plays in the upholding of the rule of law. And just as importantly, it shows us the value of reporters doing what reporters do best, even against strong headwinds, digging for the truth and exposing it to the light. Now, I would like to invite Dino Hajic, Editor-in-Chief of CINS, to the stage to accept the 2017 Anthony Lewis Prize. Thank you, Dino, for your courageous work.
Thank you. I'm much better in interviewing others than holding speeches and being interviewed, so I'll try to keep it as short as possible. I want to thank the World Justice Project for organizing such an important event, and for jury members for choosing Center for Investigative Journalism of Serbia Stories to be awarded. It's a great privilege and an honor to get the prize which carries the name of Anthony Lewis, who did so much in terms of rule of law, judiciary, justice, especially having in mind that most of the stories from the project of ours, which is awarded now, were conducted and were done investigations on exactly those type of issues. We decided to check, are the statements of Serbian politicians and office holders true that the fight against corruption and prosecution of corruption was never better in Serbia. And it was already mentioned, we submitted more than 500 FOIA requests, collected thousands of pages of documents to get a result which completely shows that they're not right. Only small corruption is being prosecuted. Major cases are dragging on for years. At the moment that we're publishing the project and the stories, there were 583 cases which lasted more than 10 years in Serbian courts. And it's not because they're complicated, it's because simply a lack of judiciary to finish and complete the cases, a lot of procedural mistakes, can't find witnesses, hearings are being postponed, and so on and so on. That's why we're very grateful to receive the award, and it's a huge incentive for our future work. It is important for us for so many reasons. I will just name two. One of them is of a global nature. In times when we all face, worldwide, we face the issue of so-called fake news, which in my opinion should be called fake news because they're lies, and lies should be called lies. It is important to recognize hard work, fact-based, detail-oriented, and fair journalism. Second reason is more of a local nature. If you look at the pro-government media, how they report about what's going on in Serbia, or you see Serbian politicians meeting with EU leaders, international leaders, you will get a picture that everything is perfect, reality is very bright, and also the future of Serbia. There are no problems. But when you scratch under the surface, there are so many problems. Politicians are not being held accountable for what they do. Corruption is widespread all over the public sector, and so on and so on. And people who do scratch under that surface, mostly journalists and especially investigative journalists, get in problems because of that. Not just my CINS. We've been dragged on front pages of tabloids. We've been called foreign mercenary spies, something that many of you are well aware from your own countries, I'm sure. And that's why we feel that this award also goes to all other our brave colleagues in Serbia who are doing equally important work as we. Unfortunately, my team that you could see on a photo a couple of moments ago could not be here today. But I would like to use the opportunity to read all their names because the whole project was done from the first story to the last story as a teamwork, as a joint effort. So CINS team who conducted all these investigations, besides me as the editor-in-chief, is Ivana Jeremić, Milica Šarić, Milica Stojanović, Anđela Milivojević, Bojana Bosanac, and Vladimir Kostić. 4 more people helped a lot in administration part, in project management finances, and they are Branko Čečen, Nevena Šumović, Perica Gunjić, and Marko Lazić. And I want to thank them publicly for doing such an amazing work. And can we get a round of applause? And in the very end, I would also like to use the opportunity to thank to our readers, to people who support us, who share our stories on social networks, because they are the reason we're doing all of this. Thank you very much.